Hello, today I'm going to talk to you about a variety of skills you can use to better manage your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now, ever since undergrad, I've been extremely fascinated by psychology. It's always interested me how people interact, why people do what they do, how people are motivated, and the science of positive thinking. These interests have led me to watch many YouTube videos and read many books on the topics, and those resources inspired me to start writing a book called Health and Happiness Skills. This book will focus on how to form healthy habits, how to avoid negative moods and thought patterns, and just how to live a happier, healthier life overall. I'm going to start out with thoughts. Now, we have to remember that thoughts are not facts. We can have all sorts of thoughts. I might walk by Margot in the hall at school and she completely ignores me. I might think, oh, she doesn't like me, when in reality she might not have even noticed me or was having a bad day. We have many thoughts pop into our heads throughout the day, some factual and some not. I do not have control over who knocks on my front door, but I do have control over how long I entertain them, how much time I spend with them, and how much energy I put into that conversation. While giving a speech, anxiety might cause me to think, you're all judging me. That might be true, but maybe everyone is just listening to the message with an open mind. So it's important to remember that just because you think something does not mean it's true. Another skill is being mindful of how thoughts trigger feelings. We often believe that situations trigger the feelings we have. Actually, it's our interpretation of the situation that triggers the feelings we have. An example of this would be going through a breakup. If you tell yourself, I'm never going to find love again, or it's all my fault we didn't work out, you're probably going to feel angry and sad at yourself. But what if you told yourself, I will find love again, or I'm going to take this time to heal and grow? You might start to feel gratitude for the lessons learned in the relationship and self-love, despite any mistakes you may have made. So the event didn't change, but your interpretation of the event changed. Now, not all feelings are just in your head. If you cheated and lied during the relationship, maybe you should be feeling sad and angry at yourself, so you can reflect on the mistakes you made and be better next time. Life has painful moments, but sometimes our interpretation increases that pain. One way to practice this skill is to notice your feelings about something that happened and then ask yourself, what am I telling myself about that situation? What thoughts are triggering these feelings? Being able to shift perspectives is an extremely useful skill. Since interpretations trigger feelings, even shifting one little word makes a difference. If I say to myself, I have to work, I have to study, or I have to go to class, I might start to feel trapped. Instead, try saying, I choose to go to work because I like having a roof over my head and food in the fridge. I choose to study because I like getting good grades. I choose to go to class because I might learn something. This new framing is going to have a different impact on how you feel. Maybe I just failed a test, causing me to tell myself things like, I'll never master this subject, I'm a failure, I'm going to get kicked out of school. If this happens, I should pause and say to myself, what are 3 other ways I can look at this? How can I prepare better next time and adjust my study habits? That's the way to practice shifting perspectives, asking yourself, what are some other ways that I can look at this? You can also do this to see a situation from another person's perspective. When we get too stuck in trying to justify our own perspectives, we miss out on learning from other people and getting the bigger picture. Being aware of the things you say to yourself and knowing how to intercept negative self-talk is an essential skill. For most of us, if we talk to our friends the way we talk to ourselves, we wouldn't have any friends. When we have a thought, it's like paving a road in our brain. Each time you have a certain thought, you pour more concrete. The neurons fire and the myelin sheath gets thicker every time you have that thought. That's why being mindful of the music you listen to is important, because the more you hear the message of a song, the more it gets paved into your neural pathways. The key is to notice when certain thoughts you have aren't helpful, and then work to replace those thoughts with more constructive ones. When you notice there are negative things you tell yourself out of habit, saying the opposite, even if you don't believe it, can help. So if you start thinking, I'm not good enough, intercept that with, I am more than good enough. I achieve anything and everything I set my mind to. Emotion regulation is the ability to use your feelings as a resource, instead of letting them control you like a puppet on a string. Increasing your ability to use feelings as energy is a skill that can be developed. Feelings are information, not facts. I have a few examples of that. Fear is a signal that you might be in danger. Are you in danger every time you feel afraid? No. It's a signal that maybe you're in danger, but it's not a fact. So we want to notice it without amplifying it. Say to yourself, oh, I'm feeling afraid. Am I in danger? No, I'm not. I'm okay. And suddenly you feel relaxed again. Guilt is a signal that maybe I've made a mistake. It lets me know that maybe something I've done is not consistent with the person I want to be. But just because I feel guilty does not mean that I have made a mistake. It's a signal to ask myself if I have messed up or not. I was raised being told that you need to stay busy. So when I would relax, sometimes I would feel guilty because I would call myself lazy. Was it a mistake that I was relaxing? No. I've learned that it's really important to take time to relax. So even though sometimes you feel guilty, that doesn't mean you made a mistake, and it certainly should not keep you from relaxing. Anger is the power to fight for dignity. It's the energy to say, don't treat me like that. Don't treat my friend like that. Treat people with respect. However, just because you're feeling angry does not mean mistreatment has occurred. It's a signal to look at the situation from another perspective and deem if anger is truly warranted or not. So think about feelings as a signal and then ask yourself, what are these feelings trying to tell me? Feelings are something you experience, just like thoughts are something you experience. They're not who you are. It's very important to not label yourself as a specific feeling. If I say, I'm a sad man, there's not much room there for other feelings. Maybe I'm a person that sometimes feels sad, but sometimes I feel happy. Sometimes I feel excited. Sometimes I feel so much love I can barely contain it. We want the flexibility to experience a variety of feelings. They add so much color to life and meaning to our experiences. You can actually notice and practice feelings that you want to feel more often. Many people are in the habit of remembering a painful event throughout the day. Maybe the event only happened for 10 minutes, but if you continuously focus on it, you will feel it for hours. So the goal is to practice feeling what we want to feel more often, and to think about that throughout the day instead. Whatever that feeling is, whether that's confidence or love, it decreases our time spent feeling less pleasant feelings. So if I work on being more confident, there's less time for me to feel insecure. Make sure you do something that makes you feel confident and capable every day. Now this is a big one. Making peace with your anxiety means accepting it. Instead of saying, I should never feel anxious, be able to say, there you are. There's my anxiety. Okay. You don't get to control me, but I notice that you're there. The great thing about anxiety is that when we're pushing ourselves to do something out of our comfort zones, we get anxious. Isn't it great that you get anxious sometimes? Because if you didn't, you're probably not pushing yourself very hard to try new things or grow as a person. Feeling a little anxious is okay, maybe even something worth celebrating. By taking a moment to pause and think, you create space between impulse and action so you can make better choices. A great example of this is using your cell phone. Think of how many times you feel the urge to check your phone each day. Even in the last 10 minutes, I bet you've felt that little itch to check it. Creating space means feeling that urge and then saying, I don't need to check my phone right now. I can check it later. This brief pause to think rather than just indulge yourself will go a long way in improving your relationships and productivity. Sometimes people sit around waiting for their feelings to inspire their actions. We can actually choose actions that trigger feelings. If I waited to feel motivated to go to the gym, I would never go. However, about 10 minutes into exercising, I start to feel motivated. So choosing actions can trigger the feelings that you want. Don't wait to feel motivated to study or motivated to go to class. Go anyway. While you're there, curiosity and motivation will flow naturally. Finally, there's the skill of choosing actions that are consistent with the person you want to be. Whatever it is that you do, there's going to be somebody that agrees with it and somebody who disagrees with it. You have to figure out what you value and what you believe in, and then choose actions that are consistent with those things. Imagine yourself on a road trip. You're driving from Raleigh to San Diego. Now that is a very long drive. Your ideal self is in San Diego. Every time you choose an action that does not align with the person you want to be, it is like you are taking a side road, potentially adding hours to your journey. I value being healthy, so if I smoke cigarettes, that leads me away from my ideal self down a side road. So knowing the person you want to be gives you a map that informs you when you start veering off course. Your ideal self is never set in stone. I may arrive in San Diego and stay for a few months and then decide to drive up the west coast to Vancouver. If you think about it, what your ideal self looks like now is probably quite different than what it looked like 5 years ago. Noticing when you're doing things that get you closer and when you're doing things that lead you away from the person you want to be will get you to San Diego before you know it. Just don't forget to appreciate and enjoy the journey. Thank you for listening to my talk today about how to be happier and healthier. Thank you.